last night, you know, where Paramount Studios used to be, all these things along the way were Paramount storefronts. And then they were operating things, but they were still Paramount storefronts. So everything takes a long time. And the reason we have the power grid the way it is because that we didn't have union problems. And we didn't have problems with environmentalists. You cannot build today. I mean, okay. We went to the wind power thing here, which we haven't been back to it because they're not. If they come back to California, we'll go again. And the biggest problem they had with wind power was from what organization? It's a Sierra Club.
Oh, that's true.
Sierra Club will not allow you to build a grid. They will not allow you to.
Yeah, because the problem with wind power is, you know, some of those wind blades, they're, what, 5 stories and 6 stories tall?
Yeah,
I mean, they're huge.
50 foot, and each blade is like 50 foot and longer.
Well, and the problem that they have with is the area where the what do you call it, the wind blades need to be are in the migratory path for birds.
That's right.
Which was their major issue.
Yeah, because and you can't put them where there's population bases because they are noisy. I mean, we went 2 years ago. We went to Consumer Electronics Association meeting in Phoenix, Arizona. We actually stopped at a wind farm. We're shooting it, and you couldn't hear yourself speaking.
It was very, very loud. Well, because I mean, you think about it. I mean, those blades are huge, right? And you know, it's like those.
It's like you're looking at a 20-story building, looking upwards at these things, and there's thousands of those in areas. They have to put them out in the desert because you can't put them near populated areas. And the further you put the things out, the more expensive it is to bring the power lines.
Because you got to bring the power back in.
Yeah.
And that's always been the problem, even with solar. It's like wherever you build the power, because the solar plants have to be right out in the middle of the nowhere, they want them in the desert, then you've got to bring that power that's generated
but
to the population area.
Solar also has to have water pumped to it, because solar energy basically works off of heating water. They have to have huge ponds. You realize the cost of a 50-acre lake out in the middle of the Mojave Desert? It's just cost prohibitive. And the fact is that if you win one battle with the environmentalists, they're not going to let you build the power lines to get across the ground. And the Bureau of Land Management will not give you permission to go across their grounds.
Which is one of the reasons why from Las Vegas to LA they've been talking about having this high-speed rail for how many years?
I don't know. I designed it while I was in college. It's basically going on the same grounds as I showed. I did a thing in college, basically it was an assignment about high-speed rail. I picked out where it should start, which is in Riverside. I picked out the parking lots. Everybody parks their cars. Because it's simple. You can follow the topographical map and you see where it has to go through the easiest spots. It's all Bureau of Land Management land.
Which means?
Which means you're never going to get permission. Because it's the environmentalists will not allow you. I mean, these guys get pissed off.
Bureau of Land Management, so they have to first of all grant permission.
They won't even let you walk on their property. I mean, we got, we used to go shoot on the way, probably Zizix, until they had an earthquake and it changed the face of the area so it was no longer topographic.
Yeah, it looked really cool before.
But if you got off the road and went across the road, your Bureau of Land Management ground, and they have no trespassing all over the place. It said Bureau of Land Management. They do mean no trespassing. And if you can't even walk out on it to take a photograph, they're not going to let people...
How are they going to do a high-speed rail over there?
Yeah, they're not going to let you have the equipment out there that's going to destroy their ground.
Yeah.
So this is why the power thing, the nuclear reactor thing is really a disaster. I mean, I can tell you, they also say, what is the problem with the rods? You know, how do you handle the nuclear rods when they're spent? The nuclear rods are spent, folks. I can design a system that uses the heat off of those nuclear rods that are spent that will power you for a zillion years and never have to have a reactor built. It's fuel. It is fuel. It is heat. Heat and water does what? It makes steam.
Yeah.
They're using heat. They're using the nuclear rods to create steam heat when they're full. What happens is the radioactivity is so hot when they pull them out that they got to be sealed up for like a 500–600 years.
Really? That long?
Yeah, because it doesn't dissipate. But it produces heat, and the water that's in here produces power if you put a steam engine. You take their bloody rods, put them in a coolant thing. With the coolant never evaporates. It just circulates like an internal combustion engine. Every now and then you add new coolant to the system, and it can't go boom. And you have that source of heat and energy for 100, 200 years that never has to have anything done to it except maintain your little fans for making stuff.
Yeah, but we have several, senators that are just saying, okay, now we should evaluate our nuclear power.
Those are the ones that are evaluating. A lot of the hardliners want them all shut down until we're certain they're safe. Once they're shut down,
see, part of it is they don't think about it. It was kind of like, what was it? Oh, in the Gulf, right after not Hurricane Katrina.
No, it was the Gulf oil spill.
After. No, not the Gulf. The spill over by.
The BP spill.
Yeah, the BP spill. Okay, so part of it is, they tell everybody, okay, everybody pulls out, and they're like, oh, now you can come back. Well, it's like after they've already pulled out, they're not coming back.
More than 60% of the rigs are gone. They're not coming back.
Same thing with if they close down all those nuclear power plants.
They're not going to be restarted.
Because part of it is, first of all, you have that vacuum where you don't have all that energy. Yep. You've got all your experts. Because it does require experts to work with nuclear power, right? That are no longer working in the field. And part of it is if they close it here in the United States, where do they go? Oh, they go to a foreign country.
They're going to go to Russia. They're going to go to the Arab countries.
I have a friend that her husband works with nuclear power. I just remembered that.
They will go.
They go to where the job is.
The job is, and they're going to go to countries where they don't give a rat's ass if things blow up. They don't care because they're going to have vast expanses. I mean, the Muslims basically, they'll have, hey, you guys from Japan, you're not going to work over there anymore. We got some spots for you in Iran. We got some spots for you in Pakistan. We got some spots for you in Saudi Arabia. Hey, Libya, hey, come to Libya and we'll build lots of nuclear reactors. That's what's going to happen. They're not going to stop nuclear power. It's just you're going to put nuclear power in the hands of the bad guys.
Well, and part of it is it just creates a lot of problems.
Well, you can't replace it.
Because I don't know what the... See, part of it is if they close it down, I just see all the fuel going up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's one of those things, it's like, well, it sounded good to turn it off.
Okay, I'm going to give you a hint about our president. Our president doesn't give a tinker's damn if all the prices go up. He doesn't care because okay, we have no space program anymore. We have no exploration of anything program anymore. Muslims do not believe in anything like that. They don't believe in exploration. They don't believe in outer space. They would prefer that we go back to the Stone Age. And Obama would like to see us return to the Stone Age. He doesn't care. He is totally disinterested in anything that has to do with making our country move forward on the energy system.
Well, you can also kind of tell, I mean... If you watch what's happened in the past several days, let's see, Japan hits an earthquake, they have a tsunami, 1,000 people wash the floor. What is our president doing?
He's giving a speech about bullying, he's giving a speech about obesity, and he's basically playing golf. He doesn't care.
So, I mean, there are people that will say, well, yeah, he's entitled to that.
Oh, I heard that last night, that he's entitled. He works hard, and they said, yeah, he has played golf 610% times more than George Bush did in 8 years.
And not that we're fixating on his golf, or not that we believe he shouldn't play golf, but, oh wait, maybe he can multitask.
He tells everybody, but he can't. Basically, the Democrats are screaming their heads off about him to get involved in the budget thing. He won't. He doesn't care. He just doesn't care. If the country shuts down and it stops rolling, he wins. He totally wins. He does not believe in, he basically wants to go back to a pastoral time that never existed for the Muslim people. There was no time when the Muslim people ruled the world. It didn't happen. They got their asses kicked right after Saladin, folks. I mean, Saladin was the great leader. Muhammad was a great leader. I mean, we're talking that they really had some great people. We're talking, I'm going to tell you, mathematics that we use to go to the stars are created by an Arab. The calendars that we use were created by Arabs. Mostly the internal combustion engines that we use were created by Arabs. A lot of what we have in our world were created by Arabs, and then the Muslims took over. And they stopped it. There's been nothing creative out of the Muslim world since the end of World War I think.
Are you serious?
They just stopped. They became infatuated with spreading a religion. It became more important spreading the religion, so they stopped being creative. It basically, you get your hands whacked off for being creative in the Muslim world.
You know, one of the things that I had seen was that China was still on board to have all of their nuclear power plants.
Yeah, they're not going to stop it.
They weren't planning on changing it.
Because they don't, okay, well, we killed a couple of million people. We don't give a rat's ass.
Yeah, lots of people.
That's 2 million people. It's just like, my father, here's my thing. My father recovered enough from the Battle of the Bulge and the Battle of Remagen to basically be shipped over to Asia as a tank commander. And my father, he was there with his tanks. And he said, you know, my father was, he was Army supportive Marines, because Marines really didn't have a lot of heavy tanks. And these guys would charge, you know, the Chinese would charge, or Japanese would charge with like a 10,000 people charging against the guns. They said, my father said, that's crazy. And they said, when the Marines would say, well, if they kill one of us, they're happy. And then my father went to Korea. And my father, he's basically, once again, Army in support of Marines, and the Chinese would charge with 50,000 people, and he'd say, this is crazy, we're going to slaughter. They said, well, if they kill one of us, they'll go to heaven happy. You know, and they said, it's not like they don't have 50,000 more people on the other side of the line. They can hit wave after, you know, why a machine gun was invented? To stop people like the Chinese and Japanese charges.
You think so?
That's what it was, because when you could put bodies up against a single, a gun that only fires one bullet at a time. I mean, my father worked on a movie about the life of Guy Gavin. Which he was an American raised by a Japanese family in our country. And basically he could speak Japanese, so he basically was in the Marine Corps. I mean, my father was one of these guys.